Hello, welcome to An Old Man Running. I'm going to talk today about two shoes I use as kind of daily trainers and recovery shoes. Triumph 19 and the Saucony Ride 15. I've had the 19s longer. I've had them about a year now and I've got about 150 miles on them, so I don't use them a ton. But I have been using them very successfully as like a recovery run shoe. So it's kind of my Monday shoe after my Sunday long runs. You could definitely use it as a daily trainer if you're comfortable with the weight. It's over 10 ounces, so it's quite heavy. I don't really notice the weight on it until maybe about the half marathon distance. I've run a couple of half marathon distances in it, and yeah, I'm starting to feel it then. I've taken it to paces beyond recovery pace, and it's not like it resists it, but you never feel like it's encouraging or pushing you to go that little bit faster. The contrast to this is the Saucony Ride 15. I picked this up recently and I was a little bit worried about it because I'd owned the Ride 14s and absolutely hated them, but this solved all the things I didn't like about the Ride 14s. Most importantly, the weight. Cut a bit of weight, and it just generally feels a lot more peppy than the Ride 14 ever did. Thinner upper than the Triumph 19. Sole's not quite as thick as the Triumph 19, but nice heel support here again, maybe just not quite as thick. And what I like about it is I feel it pushing me on to run a little bit faster, and it's very comfortable as I pick up the pace. I ran a fartlek run today of 6.4 kilometers, 4 miles. Average pace was 5:25. But I had it well below 5-minute kilometers in spells, and it just felt really nice and peppy. And for a non-carbon plated shoe, it's a thoroughly enjoyable run. For me, it replaces the Kinvara 12 and Saucony Freedom 3s that I had. I liked to kid myself when I was first running that I was the kind of runner that enjoyed those kind of really lightweight, thin-soled, minimalist running type shoes. I've come to realise that I need that little bit more cushion, and I think what this Ride 15 does for me is it gives me that little bit more cushion but still feels like I've got a little bit of pep on my easy run days. So I could use this definitely as a shoe for recovery runs as well. Whereas with the Triumph 19, not so sure you would want to be using this for, fartlek type work. Certainly easy runs, yes. The other thing I've noticed is the difference between these shoes is I feel like the Ride encourages better form from me. I find myself, running with a slight lean. I'm more towards my toes in this shoe, and it's because it feels more stable at the front. Whereas the Triumph 19 feels more stable at the back, like when you're landing on the shoes, feels like you're landing the Triumph on a big thick heel, and when you're landing on these, it feels like you're landing on a big thick front sole part of the shoe. And I think this observation about the landing is borne out by the wear pattern. If you look at the Triumph 19s, I mean, they're superb. They've held up really, really well, but where there is wear, you can just see it starting to wear away a little bit on the heel here. The rest of it's pretty untouched. Whereas if I show you the Ride, heel looks fine. Where there's wear is kind of here on the midfoot here. Now, admittedly, that's the most exposed part, but I certainly feel I'm striking further forward on this. And I know that forward striking isn't necessarily a great thing on its own, but for me, it comes with the combination of a better running form. I don't think there's a need to own both of these shoes, and so when I run out my mileage on the Triumph 19, I'm just going to stick with the Ride 15 and use that as my recovery and easy run shoe. I combine this with, for my tempo and interval training, I use the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3, and I think it's a good combination. I think you're probably paying these days $130, $140, something like that for the Ride 15. You can get the Triumph 19 on sale now for $80 maybe in the US. And so if budget's a concern for you, or you just prefer a more plush ride, then I thoroughly recommend the Triumph 19. But if you're looking for something just a touch lighter, a bit more peppy, then the Ride. But don't buy both, you don't need them both.